they presented themselves as one company with one service that was just simply better than the competitors because they offered also to kill mosquitoes. And that sounded great. Okay, let's do it. So I signed up. In the meantime, I moved. So this was in, I think, April of this year. Meanwhile, at the end of July, I moved to another location, another state. And once I got there, I realized, oh, there's like no bugs here. And last place I lived, there was like a forest in the backyard and there was tons of bugs, tons of mosquitoes. And I moved to a place where it never rains and I never see any mosquitoes. So long story short, I'm like, okay, I'll pay their cancellation fee. I expect a cancellation fee. That's totally normal. That's expected. I signed a contract. I get it. So I'm ready to pay the $200. I call them and they're like, well, you signed up for the mosquitoes and that's a different contract. So it's going to be $400 to cancel. And I didn't respond well to that. I obviously got very upset because I was like, this isn't another company. You guys come, one person comes, they spray, and I didn't see that as two services. The way that they had presented it to me was they had one superior service. And I'm like, okay, yeah, awesome, great. And they did not explain to me that they were going to hold me down, that this was somehow two different, they're acting like like it's another company. It's the same guy. It's, he comes for like 5-10 minutes and he's gone. And I didn't feel that was, I feel like they tried to trick me. I felt it was dishonest. And yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm going to pay those $400. I'm happy to pay the $200 because I'm canceling the contract early. But $400, you're basically trying to charge me a cancellation fee per bug. It's the only, reason we got is for the roaches. And now they try to say, oh, it's some other way. So frustrated, I try to do my research. I try to look up the contract. I try to see, is there anything there that I could use to my advantage? And I just basically didn't see that I had a Tennessee contract. I could only find the Georgia contract where I lived before. So I'm currently trying to ask them for proof that a Tennessee contract exists. And I'm trying to argue that I've only signed the papers for my Georgia location and not the Tennessee location, because in their contract there are some stipulations about that. So I made a complaint on the Better Business Bureau. I had made complaints to them directly on the phone. And they're like, oh, so sorry. Yes, we'll try to locate that contract. I'll send you a text message tomorrow. I'll call you back. Give us 24 hours. That was almost a week ago, and they didn't contact me at all. When I got upset and I let everybody know about what's happening on Better Business Bureau, within the next day, somebody, somebody from Hawx posted, oh, we're so sorry. Let's get this cleared up right now. I was like, oh, okay, good. So now somebody who has power can look through this. And, they're like, oh, send me an email. So I sent them an email, and they basically responded the same thing. They're like, oh, it's $200 cancellation fee for each of the bugs. And I'm like, okay, you're just repeating everything they just said, everything I just said in the complaint, and you made it seem like you understood what was going on, and you sent this message to kind of calm everybody down, like, oh no, we hear you. If a customer complains, we're gonna make it right. That's kind of, you can actually look it up on the Better Business Bureau. She responded to my comment. And yet when I contacted her, she just, gave me the same BS. So I stated, I've looked at the contract, blah, 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 blah. I'm not finding any Tennessee contract. If there is, proof of one, please send it to me. So I sent that yesterday, and, it's almost been 24 hours now and hasn't even confirmed that she has received my email. So this morning I said, can you please confirm receipt of this email? And that's kind of where we are now. Is I'm still trying to not pay $400 two cancellation fees for one service. And yeah, I I am a pissed consumer because they present themselves as a family company, but this is exactly the type of thing that a corporation does and not a family company. So maybe once upon a time it was ran as a family company, but they have a very corporate method of, they're just ignoring my complaints. They're not following up as they promised they would. They are trying to continually deceive their consumers by making it seem that there was some sort of misunderstanding, through the Better Business Bureau response to my comment. And yet it's, they'll say one thing to the public, but then to me in private, back to their, oh no, you're going to pay $400 or that's it. Another thing that upset me is I had learned that if they continue to do, if I let them on my lawn and they continue to do service, then that is me essentially agreeing with everything. So as soon as I had called them last week, customer support, and I told them, I was like, you are not allowed on the property. I want to put that in the, in the record. Oh, yes. The very next day they show up at my house. I was like, are you kidding me? I just told you you are not allowed. I am not granting authority. You are not allowed to come to my house. I am not granting consent. I have all of this, by the way, recorded. When I called them, I had, the whole conversation recorded. So, I can send that to you if you're interested. But essentially, I felt like they tried to do the opposite. They're like, we'll just send the guy there and he'll come on, because last time they came onto the property and, they just opened the door and they did their thing. So I'm thinking, like, did they really just try to do the opposite and maybe hope that I was at work, even though I work from home? And, the guy showed up and he rang the doorbell, and I was like, I'm so sorry. This isn't directed at you. You're getting caught in the crossfire here. And then I went through the whole explanation. And again, I was like, just trying to be really polite because he's a nice guy. He's not in charge of the company. And I explained to him about the whole double cancellation fee. And even he was surprised. A Hawx employee was like, what? Yeah, I'd be upset as well. So I was like, yeah, just please tell them, I am in an active contract dispute with them, and to please, I am not granting consent to come to my lawn. So that was another thing that I thought, I was like, how could that have happened? Again, I'll send you the recording so you can hear that I very clearly, I mean, it couldn't be any more clear that I was not granting consent, and they went ahead and tried to do the opposite. So all of those things just made me, extremely upset. And it's such a shame, because when I was in Georgia and I needed their service, I will confess, it was a good service. I mean, I still had some mosquitoes, but it was it was a nightmare forest. I don't blame them. It was raining like crazy. They still came and did their job. But the whole exit process, their whole trying to, squeeze every last dime as I'm exiting, I think in the end is going to hurt them more money, because now anybody who speaks to me about pesticides, I'm going to warn them against, against Hawx. I've already, tried to alert any potential customers, through Google review and the other one, Yelp review. But what they could have had is somebody who just paid the $200 cancellation fee, no issue. And then I would have continued to say, Hawx is a great company. You will even see, if you look in Yelp, I made a positive review like the same week that I signed up with them, because I was like, oh, this is great. One service does everything. And now they have angered me to the point where, especially with all those things that they have done, I'm pissed. And now I'm going to let people know, because I don't feel like they were honest up front. And, people should at least know what they're stepping into before they step into it. Accept my offer for the one service, one cancellation fee. I'll send them the $200. And honestly, I'd probably go ahead and leave an update to my negative reviews, or take them down if that's possible. Because then they would be kind of honoring what I think is reasonable. One service, one cancellation fee, not, per bug as they're trying to do it now. And honestly, just get back to me. They told me they would get back to me. They said it would take 24 hours, no problem. That was last Wednesday. It's Tuesday now, so tomorrow it will have been a week. The only time they got back to me was because I complained on Better Business Bureau.